every night, the vision of the same man. A man with glasses who just wants to explain, but instead, he suffers. The vision is different every night, but in this one, he sees another man, large, wearing nothing but an apron, holding a massive bomb in his grill tongs. The massive, droning tick, tick, tick of the clock tower atop the Bureau of Intermortal Enforcement headquarters casts an eternal shadow over the otherwise shining city of Necropolis. A long arm that reaches over everything, making its presence and its continuous flow of time always known. And somewhere, far, far down, is a much smaller building with a much less impressive shadow. One that is actually basically cast away by the lights of the city. The crudely fashioned headquarters of Wraith Wrath, the temp agency slash nonprofit slash general meeting point of Wraiths. A type of dead that serve as the ambassador of holidays. And inside one of the tiny rooms of this tiny building, a tiny man with an impressively large hat and a gigantically terrible accent starts talking. Aye, mateys, I knew you coming in on your day off. Not happy about it. Not happy about it at all. You know me, your advisor, Arthur. The ambassador of Speak Like a Pirate Day, me mateys, doesn't like bringing you in. It doesn't adhere to the pirate code. But, when the Bureau wants something done, we do it their way, mateys. So, here I got the little articles, and on them, you're gonna sign and you're gonna tell me on the articles, but also out loud, please, who you are, what you doing here. Well, you don't know what you're doing here. I'll explain that once you tell me who you are.
My character is going to put his glasses up and be like, well, my name is Charles Ferdinand Latrille, but I suppose you can just call me Charles if you would require. I am played by Ari Sheher of Quest Friends. I am Hidem. And I guess I have a question. What type of pirate are you? Are you part of the Buccaneering period? Are you part of the... And then he's just gonna keep,
I represent all the ages of pirates, although mostly the golden age, hence the parrot on my shoulder and the peg leg, and the fact that I'm wearing the Union Jack on my shirt and pants and me undergarments, though you can't see those, of course. And my good friend Charlie, my matey. What holiday do you represent?
Under his breath, he'll be like, well, the Golden Age is divided between 3 different periods, so really you haven't really answered the question. Anyways, the holiday I represent, of course, I represent the Cinco de Mayo holiday, because...
Cinco de Mayo, a great day for drinking and merriment and wearing the big sombreros with the maracas.
He's gonna get, his glasses are going to, fade over, his pupils, and it's gonna be like, if a single person gets it wrong, it is not about that. It is not a party time. It is a battle that was won.
It's obviously about sinking ships. Cinco de Mayo. Mayo is Spanish for ship.
We've talked about this before.
Charles, you ain't gonna gaslight me. Hi, it's me, the Easter Bunny. He, him, obviously, and I'm played by, what is this schmuck? Hold up. Giancarlo Herrera. He, him, or any, whatever. Indecisive. Yeah, and that's me. I would have taken you for a digital pirate, if I had to say.
taking me or taking Charlie for a digital pirate?
Both of you.
I do sail the bay from time to time, if you know what I'm talking about, matey.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Oh, I was downloading my emulators. Don't tell them. Don't tell them. Even in the hereafter, they can find you. Don't tell them, but I got my emulator. You know what I'm talking about. Okay.
The Nintendo Witch will come get you.
No!
Aye! The Nintendo Witch, fearsome across all the lands! Have you had a run-in with the Nintendo Witch? If so, you need to write it here on our sheet, my friend.
No.
I be a pirate and that make me a trusted man, so I believe you. Could you tell me about yourself, friend?
Why?
An account of, so we can go.
April Fools! I already knew the answer. I just wanted to make you say it again because that's the kind of sad, silly joke that I represent.
It's July.
One that has no meaning or heart.
But,
The Easter Bunny puts, like, hands on knees and just, like, slumps over, like, here we go.
Charles gonna roll his eyes.
And I played by Emily, who definitely didn't just forget their own name for a second.
April Fool?
April Fools!
And as they all laugh together, you notice on the floor a very small groundhog. He is graying around his face, and no one except the Easter Bunny can hear his inner monologue as he does his best to climb up onto the table to slather his little paw in ink and put it down. And the Easter Bunny, you just hear, "I'm Puxatawny Phil. He, him.
Oh, I knew that, Phil.
Played by Hannah Schooner, she, they.
Phil, why are you introducing yourself to me? You know they can't understand you.
I'm the last groundhog on Earth. Except I would be if it weren't for the Shadow Man.
Phil,
He follows
it's just
me.
a shadow. It's
He's
just...
always 2 steps behind.
Phil, the only reason the
And-
shadow isn't here right now is because we're inside of a bigger shadow that's eating that shadow. It's just light. It's just light, Phil.
He's 2 steps behind, and one day he's gonna get me. He's watching. He's always watching.
Phil, did you take your anxiety medication?
No, it's right here. I'll take it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, you gotta take care of yourself.
Yeah, I know.
For the benefit of the listeners, the Easter Bunny is not a bunny. The Easter Bunny is a man in an Easter Bunny costume.
Excellent.
are you one with the costume?
Or is he April Fools?
You see, like, through, like, the mouth of, like, the big mascot head, you can kind of see, like, a grizzled, like, dude inside of there.
So, yeah, I don't think we should get into this, but I also want to get into this because I want to know what level of body horror we're dealing with. Like, how separate the man is from the suit. Like, is it just zip shut, or is there, like, parts of you attached to it, or...
I think it's something darker.
I'm not sure I even know.
I think he died in the suit, and so there was some afterlife hijinks where the people in charge were like, obviously, he belongs in the suit.
Yeah.
Therefore, he will forever be in the suit.
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
Oh, also, I'm so sorry I forgot to do this during the introduction, but in case you couldn't tell by our interaction, I'm the weird who talks to creatures.
Oh, I didn't do any of my introduction.
Hey, shit! There's a second side to this sheet! It's gotta say what you do, who you are! Wait, who you are! Sorry. He's gonna look at a security camera. I'm playing the part, okay? Please don't dock me pay again.
They're always watching.
And the rest of you only see a trembling groundhog on the desk, but he's like having war flashbacks inside. And he's like, I'm the animal companion who's particularly small, but not as small as the Shadow Man, who's always watching.
In a big mascot hand, I'll scoop up Phil so that he's on his back and just like soothingly run a big furry bunny hand.
You gotta do what people do with babies where they throw American cheese, which is a tiny,
Yes!
a very small slice of cheese.
Can I pull cheese out of nowhere?
Yes, you can.
I would like to chuck this piece of cheese.
Okay, but because you are, what is your,
I'm the slapstick who pulls pranks.
yeah, so it's a big-ass slice of cheese. Like, it is a groundhog-covering slice of cheese.
Yes, and as it happens, you see the outline. Like it's like cartoonishly, the cheese suddenly molds to him, and you can just see that like shocked face that groundhogs make, where his mouth is just like too open, and he's just like, and then he starts eating the cheese, obviously.
And Charles, what are you up to during this?
Yeah, so he's gonna be like, well, groundhogs actually are able to eat cheese, so there's not gonna be any indigestion issues. So this is all good. Just wanted to explain it. Also, I thought that I had already said what my class was. I'm sorry, that happens a lot. I thought that I was gonna do it, that I had done it. I am the journalist who sees the future. I saw this thing happening. It's so confusing sometimes.
You were 2 steps ahead, so you forgot, in the press. It happens all. We're used to it.
Unlike the Shadow Man, who's 2 steps behind.
Yeah. I knew you were going to say that. I knew you knew. Glad that makes sense now.
So that opening monologue that played before the intro theme, the one with the guy with the tongs, was actually your vision of the future, Charles.
We might be going to a barbecue. Does we have an office party going on soon? Maybe? Are we due to that?
Oh, excellent, me mateys. Now, I just have one more question for you, and this one you gotta think real carefully. Where were you mateys last night?
I don't know. Because he doesn't. He doesn't know where he was.
You see, the thing is, I could tell you where I think I was last night, but is that where I was last night or where I will be in 2 days?
This does happen often with you, yeah.
I was at war. I was doing my thing, controlling the weather as I do. And then I saw him. He sticks to the shadows. Ever seen a shadow groundhog's eyes? They're like doll's eyes, all dull and lifeless. And he passes out.
Oh,
no.
You just see in the Easter Bunny's hand, it's like a fainting couch. His little paw comes up, and he's just like,
Oh, no.
and everyone else just heard squeaking.
I put him in my basket.
All right, Mr. Da, what were you up to last night?
If you're trying to pin the crime on me, then it wasn't me. And April, I'm sorry to sell you out, but I know you saw me there. I was trying to find...
Wait, did I do the crime?
Maybe.
Is that why I was there?
Maybe. I'd really rather not talk about the crime.
But if you could do like a little bit more detail, I wouldn't be opposed.
Well, you remember, this morning there was the robbery?
Yes.
Look, it's real uncomfortable. Everyone is tense in the hereafter about it right now. I'd really rather not. But if you were there and you remember, then maybe...
Well, you could tell me and I might remember.
It was the thing with the pickles. The pickle-related robbery.
Oh. Are you sure you didn't do the crime?
No, hey, it wasn't me. It wasn't me because I went to the arts and crafts store, then I went back to my place, and then I went to find a tailor, see if anyone...
Wait here, mateys. What kind of pickles are ye talking about?
Well, I don't know. I wasn't there, but
what kind of pickles, Bunny?
I wouldn't be involved with bread and butter pickles, so it's got to be something else.
It was bread and butter pickles. Breathe. I don't have enough room for you in the basket if you faint.
Bread and butter pickles.
Oh, pickles. Was it actually a true pickle? Because you have to truly do a series of immersions of it in vinegar in order for it to actually be considered a pickle. Was it or was it more of a cucumber? I know that's not the true crux of the crime, but it might be important for.
Charles, I don't want to cast aspersions here, but it kind of sounds like you know a suspicious amount about pickles.
Actually, yeah, you know a lot about pickles.
In an aside, just to the audience, as Phil is inside the basket, you just hear, I stole the pickles. And then he goes back to hyperventilating, hoping that the Easter Bunny didn't hear him.
What was that, Phil? Oh, nope. Okay. Arthur, I don't appreciate the hostile energy you've brought in here today.
I'm just asking questions.
You're accusing us of crimes right off the bat, pulling that out of nowhere. We're a strictly anti-pickle.
Boom Day Bob is missing.
Again, groundhog shock face.
We've only got 4 days until Boom Day, the most dangerous day of the year, July 4th. And if Boom Day Bob is on the lam, I mean, who knows what chaos you can wreck? You know that uncle who just looks down the firework and it goes off in his eye?
Yeah.
Or the guy who's like, yeah, watch me fly up with this other firework. Or the guy who just uses guns. Every time one of those goes wrong, it's our good friend Bob's doing.
Yeah.
And what's a Boom Day without mutilation?
I'd hate to even imagine it.
Phil will get out of the basket and put an arm on Arthur to try to comfort, and it actually looks quite cute as his little paw, and you just hear a little bit of
roll me 2d6 with fears.
With fears? Okay. 4.
Your head ends up inside the parrot on his shoulder.
I beg your pardon?
No!
He had a parrot on his...
Parrot's eating you!
Sorry, it's not an actual parrot. It's a necromon. I don't have its name, but it's a parrot, but it has the gullet of a pelican. So it just opens up wide and it just always trying to get...
Okay, everyone else just hears panicked squeaking, and the Easter Bunny can hear, I always thought the Shadow Man would get me. I didn't know it'd be like this. Here I go. Groundhog heaven.
The Easter Bunny comes over and grabs him by the little hind legs and is going to try to pull him out.
Yeah, you don't need to roll for that. It's not a strong bird.
Spit it out. Spit it out.
That did make me feel a lot better, Phil. Thanks.
Listen, Arthur, we gotta find Boom Day Bob. He was the best man at my wedding. Of course, that wedding didn't work out, largely due to Boom Day Bob's activities, in the...
Look, I'm glad we can still be friends.
It's a little awkward seeing the ex when I go over to his house to play board games, but he still means a lot to me.
I don't mean to put pressure on you, but he means a lot to the Bureau, too. That's why they had me bring you in today, and, well, if you don't get to Bob, the Bureau's gonna get to him first. And I don't know what they'll do.
Groundhog shocked face.
I suppose Boon Day at least is an actual Independence Day. I respect that. And because of that, I think it's good to follow this mission only for that principle. Because there's some days that aren't actually Independence Day, and yet they're celebrated that way.
Charles, we can always count on you for obscure knowledge and to uphold personal liberties. Thank you.
This guy is really probably just put his glasses up. That's kind of my specialty with history and things like that. Thank you, Easter Bunny. I can always count on you to give some good praise to this history-loving man.
I didn't remember there be a holiday. Well, actually.
Punxsutawney Phil looks very serious, and again, everyone only hears squeaking, but he puts his little paws on his hips, and the Easter Bunny hears, yeah, you gotta find Bob. We gotta bring Bomb Day to fruition, and I'll make it rain. Literally, if we're lucky. But again, it's just squeaking.
Anyways, I keep Easter Bunny, when I get to you, my voice moves like yours. So, Pirate! Speak like a pirate. You see, I can get back to the pirate voice. Don't fire me, please. Anyways, he says, looking back from the cameras.
You're fired! April Fools! Was it funny?
The grocery store is a good place to start, Arthur says, starting to tear up.
Oh.
Hello, Dungeons and Drimbus listeners, Drimbanites, Drimbussies. No, not that one. Hi, I am Kyle. I ran today's session, which is a bonus episode of Quest Friends Hereafter. Quest Friends is an audio cartoon inspired by shows like Gravity Falls and The Owl House that takes place in a world where the realm of the dead is a plane ride away. We don't have Tim Glutus, unfortunately. We don't have a sexy Tim Curry cell. What we do have is a sexy Tim Curry organ that was centrally attacked by a bunch of Pokemon. Attack, I'm being attacked! And you start to hear some wailing and moaning, ooh, as voices start rushing towards the fucking... the keyboard, the Tim Curry, sexy Tim Curry organ, who you are now having a sexual fight with.
You made it sexual. We were not sexual.
I'm a sexy Tim Curry piano. I don't know what you expect of me, darling, all right?
Booker stabs harder.
I'm wailing, but not in the way that I want to. Please come save me, other whalers.
I think Tom has been killed. What's going on?
And that's one of the least strange things that's happened on Quest Friends. If you've enjoyed today's episode, I would love to have you join the Quest Friends community. You can find our episodes at questfriendspodcast.com or by searching Quest Friends with the exclamation point on your favorite podcasting app. And once you've listened a little bit, I'd love if you sent us a message or joined our Discord and let us know that Drimbus sent you our way. All right, with that out of the way, let's go to the grocery store. So you are going to go into Fall Mart. The logo looks like Walmart's logo, but in the center, there's an angel falling down, reaching up. Honestly, the second grocery store we've introduced, and the second one that's demon-themed. Don't know what I mean by that, but yeah.
Watch your step. There are hellholes in every aisle.
And when you walk in, who's the first of you to walk into the store?
I think it's gonna be Charles. I think he's ready to explore the...
Charles, you immediately get poked in the ass with a giant red spear, because instead of Walmart greeters, they have Fall Mart greeters, who are just imps holding little spears that just stab you as you're welcoming.
How impolite. Oh, I hate this store.
And then I want to note just a bit of lore thing. The second you go in, you hear your most hated song on loop.
Oh.
So I don't know what they all are. I imagine for Charles, it's the
yeah, correct. This is my stereotypical song, and that's
for Phil. It is just the whispers of the Shadow Man.
Yeah, basically. I was going to say maybe it's the "I'll Always Be Watching You" song. I always feel like somebody's watching me.
That's it. That's what you're getting. That's a lot better.
And he is most definitely actually the last one to enter because there is pickle juice on his hands, so to speak, as far as the crime. And so he just returning to the crime is never a good idea. But he's just a cute little guy, so a lot of people, they don't look at him.
I'm pretty convinced that I did the crime, so I'm walking in like I'm not afraid, but I am walking in assuming that I'm going to have to justify myself and figure out a way to make it look like I didn't do this crime.
Easter Bunny walks in loud and proud. He knows he didn't steal any pickles. And as he gets his customary stabbing, it goes clean through him. And then, like, he holds, like, the skin of the costume, and, like, you see it didn't puncture the flesh inside, it just went through the costume. But as the spear, like, retracts, you see, like, the costume seals back up, keeping him trapped inside.
Oh my god.
Unending nightmare.
Horrifying.
He goes so close. And then what song do we hear? We hear Baby Shark, because this dude was clearly like hired for like an Easter event for kids.
For like children's parties.
That's how he died.
Yeah,
Yeah.
those were the last things he heard as he
Baby
passed
shark.
on.
Do-do-do-do-do.
That's why he got stuck in the suit. He was on the...
Yep.
Ay.
Phil will try to avoid the Falmart greeters if possible, hiding.
I'm gonna say you're small enough you can do that. I'm gonna let that happen.
Yeah, he's going to like attach himself to the Easter Bunny's leg so that as the Easter Bunny walks, Phil is just like being dragged on one leg and he positions himself to be out of sight by the Falmart greeters.
So you've gotten past the greeters. Every aisle is 6, because of course it is.
Mm-hmm.
And you were sent here. This was your first clue, essentially. Apparently, pickles weren't the only thing stolen here. There was a pickle heist, but buns, American cheese.
This is Walmart, so I gotta ask, are we talking like buns bread or buns comma human?
You know the answer to that?
Oh,
You know the answer to that?
this is a lot worse than I thought.
So just to check, did you do this crime? Because I'm still unclear.
Signs are pointing at Charles, I think is kind of what we landed at.
Oh, sir, my knowledge about pickles have no correlation with the fact that I could have stolen pickles. I, a historian, know about a variety of different subjects, including pickles.
Do you know a lot about historical heists?
Perhaps you are the one that's trying to throw shit. I know that the culprits...
I can't eat. Why would I want the pickles?
Mhm.
None of us can eat, but some of us still do.
Solid arguments from both of you.
Also, it has to be someone with bad taste.
True. Very true.
Bread and butter pickles.
Phil's super big little like groundhog eyes suddenly take on a sad hue, but he says nothing as he just does the like little groundhog where they wring their little paws a little bit.
Yeah, like, who eats bread and butter pickles?
Now, if you're just eating bread and butter, good taste.
Yeah.
Bread and butter pickles. It's one too many. One word.
Still fine.
I mean,
It's not my fault bread and butter pickles are on the bottom shelf and I can't climb.
what was that, Phil?
Nothing.
Phil, speak your mind. You know, you're one of the greatest investigative minds we got. Predicting weather just at random. I mean, maybe you can just predict who stole the pickles. Do you know anything, Phil?
Maybe this guy that stole the pickles, maybe he wasn't so tall, and so the bread and butter pickles a bottom shelf item, maybe that's all he could grab, that's all.
Phil, we're not even in the pickle aisle yet. How do you know the bread and butter pickles are on the bottom shelf?
It's a hypotenuse.
Oh, right.
I say this with a lot of love. Did you do the crime?
If you're looking at Phil, his puppy dog eyes get like really big and his little paws come close to his head and he like leans on them.
Okay, fine. Well, we ruled out one person.
I think that's the most solid argument that there is. I mean,
Are we sure it wasn't Bob?
I think it was Bob. He has bad taste.
He puts relish on his hot dogs, and he really likes watching when people try putting fireworks inside a glass jar. And we all know pickles come in.
Glass jars.
Right. We got there.
well, you know, pickles. There's a variety of pickles that can be said, but I suppose, yeah, the glass jars
Charles,
is the
you're not
most
helping
common.
your case here, bud. How tall are you?
I am pretty tall. I'm the same height as you, Easter Bunny. So I would have to lean down way too much to grab the pickles in the lower shelf.
But do you have bad taste?
Like real abysmal taste.
I borrowed Charles's iPod for a road trip once, and it was nothing but Nickelback.
Well, You know,
Is it still funny to hate on Nickelback for no apparent reason?
April Fools, it was never funny.
One of the employees just stares at you, shakes their head, sad, and walks away.
my love of history and Nickelback is coming back to bite me. Typical of these coworkers.
All right.
I'm gonna go look at the shelf with the pickles.
Yeah, I'm going to give you a GM intrusion.
Because we took too long.
So, the Easter Bunny, you get 1 AP. Who do you want to give your other AP to?
Oh, I choose someone to give it to.
Yeah.
I feel like I've been ragging on Charles a bit, so I'm gonna give it to Charles. I think some reparations are in order.
Yay!
You feel the shockwave of a massive explosion that knocks down all of the shelves like dominoes nearby. And the Easter Bunny mascot head, without a torso, rolls out from the aisle before eventually restitching itself back into a full Easter Bunny outfit.
You hear, so the head rolls out, but you can't see where the rest of it is. And you hear, I'm free! And like scrambling. And then you see like when a video game polygon glitches and stretch way too far, like threads shoot out of the Easter Bunny head, and you hear them readjust. You go, no! And then it gets muffled again.
That's horrifying.
When it was just the Easter Bunny's head, Phil like grabbed his head and like looked horrified. And for the record, audience, Phil has a book stat of -3. And it's possible that he doesn't realize that the Easter Bunny will stitch back together. And he starts like saluting him, one hand to his temple.
And he's just like, I always thought the Shadow Man would get you too, but I didn't know.
I like to imagine Phil is still holding on or gets like snagged by the head as it flies off.
Yeah,
So just this groundhog off screen.
Well, saluting.
Phil, as he gets thrown, suddenly there is a bright light from the top of the aisle, and he turns around and he sees the Shadow Man. And the Easter Bunny, as you get stitched back together, you hear Phil say, I'm gonna protect you. Don't look. And he starts trying to like fight his shadow to protect the Easter Bunny as he like cries to himself. He's like,
Just punching the ground with his little hand.
yeah.
Oh no!
Meanwhile, you see like the big fake mascot fingers, like in horror, dragging along the head as you hear just a muffled, I don't even remember who I was before the mask anymore.
April Fools! As he says this, he grabs each of them and sets them upright as they go through their trauma. April Fools, buddies!
And the April Fool, like, he picks Phil up and suddenly he can't see his shadow anymore. And he looks so relieved and he just goes,
Phil 1, Shadow Man 9256.
Well, that's one of the most horrifying things I've seen in my life. That's okay. Okay.
Shouldn't you have seen this coming?
I wish I had seen this coming. What's too horrifying for that? Anyways, it's fine. I'll hopefully forget this. You know, this is okay.
Could we investigate?
Yeah, you don't really have to see much. When you get there, you see that some of the things set off by the explosions are still sparking, you know, little ground fireworks. But you know how if you move a sparkler really fast, it leaves behind like a little trail of like...
oh yeah.
You see a sparkler trail that just says, Phil, give me the pickles.
Phil, like, clutches his chest. Actually, Phil can't read. Who are we kidding? Phil looks at the words, and they make 0 sense, and so he is chilling.
Phil, do you know anything about this?
You said you didn't do it.
Phil, give me the pickles.
Did you April Fool me?
And it is at this time that cartoonishly, the jar of pickles just falls out of him somehow, like it was in his tiny adventure backpack. And then you see shocked groundhog face, and Phil to the Easter Bunny is like, how did that get there? The Shadow Man. The Shadow Man.
I was going to say, we see the shadow of the pickle jar first, and then the pickle jar.
Yeah, that's right. You see the shadow of the pickle jar, and cartoonishly, Phil's shadow is holding the pickle jar.
What?
Like it looks like. And so he points and he goes, the Shadow Man, the Shadow Man. And he's going to use his puppy dog eyes to try to convince everybody that it was the Shadow Man.
God.
Oh.
What does puppy dog eyes do?
Once per adventure, you can automatically get a full success on the convince somebody move without rolling.
Ooh.
Are you kidding me, bro?
So when you do it against a player,
Yeah.
the rule is it has to have their consent or they can anti-roll.
Fair enough.
But I think it should just work.
Yeah.
I think all of you are like,
Yeah.
oh, it can't be. It must be a different Phil.
Do any of us not consent to be fooled by his little
That
groundhog?
was so cute.
Because here's the thing. I don't know. It's the unlife. The Shadow Man could be fucking real. You don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know.
I guess since the puppy dog eyes works on him, the Easter Bunny goes, oh my God, he's real. The Shadow Man stole the pickles and tried to pass it off onto Puxatawny Phil. What is this world coming to?
Don't worry, I'll save you! I would like to make an elaborate trap with my cartoon physics to trap the shadow.
For the Shadow.
So we're just ignoring the explosion, extorting Phil for pickles, and we're going to try. All right. You know what? Tell me, how does the elaborate trap work?
Are we still in the pickle aisle or are we in a different aisle?
I think you're still in the pickle
I
aisle
think
where
so.
everything is exploding.
Oh, it's still exploding
Well, it's
actively.
done exploding, but they're after explosions.
Oh.
I think I would like to take some of the no doubt exploded and splintered shelving units
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and put them in sort of a squarish shape so that the shadow of a box is cast on the ground. The shadow of a box around the shadow.
I think it would be funny to waste this here. Can I aid this roll to use? Just give me a second to figure out which enhances the party's next roll.
Yeah. Yeah. How do you do that? How do you increase? How do you make this better? This like cartoonish shadow contraption that isn't an actual box, but is just a bunch of things made to look like a box, like needlessly convoluted, made to look like a rectangle.
Well, that's what it's supposed to trap a shadow. So it's a shadow. So that's what the shadow.
Yeah, I think it's gonna actually how shadows are projected and the different types of ways that historically, shadows have been used in like photographs and stuff. And so that way it will enhance the use of a shadow box to capture a shadow man.
It's incredible.
Now, do we really want to capture the Shadow Man? And then the Easter Bunny. So, actually, Kyle, here's a mechanic question. I know you asked us to come up with like a power related to this.
Yeah.
How do we use that mechanically here?
I'm just going to let you use it.
Okay.
So if you want to.
Great. So you see, he goes, do you want to capture the Shadow Man? And then his hand comes out with a little plastic Easter egg. He pops it open and pulls out a flashlight and goes, or do you want to kill him?
Phil has never considered the option of defeating the Shadow Man before. And you see anyone who knows the emotional depth that this groundhog harbors. Calculations flash through his mind, but they don't make any sense because he's not smart. So it's like bread plus butter equals pickle plus flashlight equals Shadow Man dead. And he's just having a moment And I think for the sake of the comedy, I think the Shadow Man is real. And I think that this elaborate trap, like, you notice at this time as Phil starts pacing that his shadow is not pacing. As he starts just like mumbling to himself, his little groundhog paws, he's like,
The Shadow Man. Could he really be dead? Would I be free? Would I be free?
and his shadow is not pacing.
Nope. Just a little bit of green light forms the small shape of a smile in the shadow.
I would like to use my move, understand the incomprehensible to understand unknowable things. What is that? And how do we kill it?
Ari and I know what that is.
I love when we are just using all of our cool moves into this derailment.
To kill a character that you know is unkillable.
It's beautiful. I love this so much.
That green, the Easter Bunny, you've seen shit.
Sure have.
You've seen flames of that green. You've seen memories unraveled in a green aura. You know that's bad shit.
That's bad shit. It's real bad shit. He just, he doesn't know what else to do and just turns the flashlight onto Max and shines it at the shadow.
As you do that, the Shadow Man realizes he's been caught, and you see a little cartoonish jump before he tiptoes to reattach to Phil.
Yeah, I like that. And that is when I'm going to let you roll to spring the trap.
Perfect.
And you get to roll with advantage, Emily, because of their attempt to kill the Shadow Man.
All right.
And that is a books thing, so you're going to do a -2 as well.
-2?
Yeah, because the Shadow Man might have a character sheet.
Oh, I thought he didn't exist.
They didn't believe me, but I known from the beginning.
I wish we could share video because Hannah bracing themselves against the walls of the booth.
So I rolled a 7 with advantage.
Okay, is that before or after the -2?
That's before.
But thanks to Charles, it's up to a mixed success again.
Okay.
Yay!
So you get to choose 2 about this box. It takes longer than expected to work. It works, but not quite how you expected, or it breaks after being used. You have to pick 2 of them.
I want it to work not quite how we expected. And then one of mine is you get caught in the trap with your target.
Oh my god.
Oh! And I just think that would be really funny.
We're really derailing this.
You go in, it's sneaking back. A tendril goes to attach itself to Phil, and then snap! It's cut off as the box slams onto the ground.
April? You good?
April
April
Fools?
Fools!
Oh!
April Fools! April Fools! I did not think that was gonna go badly. I thought it was gonna be... Who's laughing with me?
What a wonderful jest!
Oh!
The box opens and the April Fool falls out.
I will say, a much more fun host than a groundhog.
And you notice that tethered instead to the April Fool
No.
is a shadow that stretches out, casts against the wall, massive, giant dangling wings, pale green eyes, and a massive pale green mouth and fingers that twiddle together.
That was when you say April Fools! It's not real! It's not real! It's April Fools!
Well, I'm afraid, dear friend, it is very real. Also, Phil, the count is a little closer to 9,987. But I will give it, you did actually have 2 wins over me. If you forget the incident with the lawnmower, I consider that a win for you.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay, now here's my question. Do you think that because the Shadow Man is attached to someone else, does his power over Phil weaken? Or do you think he is still just as scared? Like, do you think this is like he's free and so all this weather power has been unlocked? Or is this still like a terrifying, like...
Well, that's up to you, Phil, or should I say my dear friend Hannah?
Yes.
You are the one who attached me to Phil.
You're right. You're right.
You're the one who gets to decide. Although the Easter Bunny, I think, is quaking in his little feetsies.
I think at this point, Phil stands up on his hind legs, and he stands taller than anyone has seen him before. And the Easter Bunny hears,
You only had power over me when you were my shadow man. And you know what doesn't cast a shadow? A storm.
and he like puts his little paws out.
Get his ass, Phil!
And like somehow clouds appear that like cover the light, and so the shadow is like obscured and lost within the shadow of everything else. And as it starts to rain, he puts his little groundhog paws to the sky and drops to his groundhog knees and is like, I'm free. I'm free.
Roll me take a swing, which is fierce.
Excellent. I'm so excited.
And you do get a +2 on that because the Shadow Man actually does not have a good fierce score.
The April Fool is openly weeping at this beautiful display of growth.
That is an 11.
Oh, no.
Okay, you are going to hit the Shadow Man with this.
It's been on such a journey.
I know.
And let me see, for take a swing, you get to choose one of these benefits. You hit exactly where you want, you temporarily immobilize them, or you move them exactly where you want to.
Ooh. I'm gonna move them exactly where I want to, and I'm going to capture the Shadow Man by making him the shadow of a grocery aisle. So he cannot follow anyone anymore, and he is stuck within this Fall Mart
Oh my god.
forever.
Dude.
With the pickles aisle.
The Shadow Man, it spits out, poof, hits the side, and I will say the Shadow Man is strong enough that she can redirect it.
That's fair.
And her shadow spirals into the pickle jar that was dropped on the ground.
But being stuck in the pickle jar, Phil is still pleased, and he leans down and he approaches. He like crawls on his little legs and he leans into the pickle jar and he goes,
That's 3 for me.
All of the things I could have seen. I could have seen literally all of this, and instead I saw a man eating a hot dog. Why is my vision so weird?
Oh, so you saw something actually related to the 4th of July special.
The Shadow Man is just in that big scary form, but just kind of leaning to the side like someone lounging, floating around in the pickles in the shadow form. Just like,
That would make sense, I suppose, you know. You should probably be doing that rather than pulling in main campaign villains, but what do I know, you know?
Yeah, do we just, does someone want to store the pickle jar?
Well, I'm pretty sure Phil wanted those pickles, and,
the Shadow Man is gonna look back at just all the things exploded.
I'm pretty sure this is the only jar.
Well, you know what? Let's double layer, and I'll take the now empty plastic Easter egg that I got the flashlight out of, and I'll put the jar inside of that.
Oh!
Where do you put the egg? Just out of curiosity.
Worry about it.
You can't hear the Shadow Man anymore.
It's gone.
Oh my god!
It's gone. Let's wrap this up.
Phil like puts his tiny paw to the like chest of the Easter Bunny and he goes,
You're my hero.
No, you're my hero, Phil. I'm sorry I didn't take the Shadow Man so seriously. I didn't know she was real, and
It's okay.
you know, maybe you shouldn't be taking unnecessary anxiety medication because, frankly, suddenly your panic attacks seem very justified.
I understand. The Easter Bunny.
Yeah.
I gotta tell you something.
Yeah.
Don't be mad, please.
Me? Mad? That happens sometimes.
But when I tell you, you might be angry about it because I kind of lied a little bit after.
Oh, well, it's okay. I lie all the time.
He gets like really, really close. He climbs on your shoulder to whisper in your ear and he goes,
Stole.
I'm sorry, what?
I stole the pickles.
You... One more time, please.
I stole the pickles.
Are you kidding me? Oh my God, Phil! Are you serious?
He stole the pickles, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. It's fine. I'm really not that mad. I'm not mad. It's okay. I pick him up. April Fools!
and he looks like do groundhog ears droop? I don't know. He just looks sad as he looks to Charles and the April Fools in like apology as he like wrings his little tiny paws and he looks very guilty and apologetic.
I'm not mad that you lied to me. I'm a little mad that the Easter Bunny's your hero and I'm the one that had the scary shadow man in my shadow for you.
Phil will climb off of the Easter Bunny and climb over to the April Fool and just climb around him to be on his shoulder, and without words, he puts a paw to his cheek and like you can just sense the sincerity there. And the Easter Bunny hears,
You're all my heroes.
and at this new vantage point, Phil looks around and can see much more of the grocery store to investigate.
You know what? Actually, I think I'm going to end the episode on You're All My Heroes. And we just cut to, in his backyard, a man with a massive beard, giant, like, bear-like body, wearing nothing but a barbecue thing that says, Kiss this Cook.
Mm-hmm.
One of those, like, nothing else, socks and sandals, no pants, no shirt, holding a firework in his tongs, just looking around, being like, well, I sure hope Phil got my invitation, and a reminder to bring the pickles for the burgers.
And Charles sees a vision, and this is how Charles knows they need to get to the barbecue, because Charles sees Phil get a piece of paper with writing on it, but he can't read. But he recognizes the little drawing of a pickle that Bob had put, and that's how he knew about the pickles, but he doesn't know when or where to go.
Yeah.
So you end up finding Bob at his barbecue. So
Yep.
that gets wrapped off with a bow as well, right?
What a nice bow. Yeah.
His barbecue.
His barbecue.
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 As soon as Bob is like, where's the pickles? We all just slowly turn to the Easter Bunny.
There you go. Be careful opening that. There's something extra inside you don't want to let out.
The Shadow Man.
I just want to clarify, I don't want pickles on mine.
Happy Boom Day.